Welcome to our weekly podcast, Real Talk with Chris and Ross. We are designed for entrepreneurs and forward thinkers. We also care very heavily around the real estate industry as a whole, bringing you hot topics and up-to-date content with a lot of amazing special guest speakers along the way. So sit back, buckle your seatbelt, and get ready for the best hour of your day.
Dude, every time.
It gets chills in the back of my neck. Episode 36. There we go. We're climbing the charts, man. Working our way to 40. Excited to have us Real Talk with Chris and Ross. And as always, my co-hostess with the mostest, Ross.
Hey, yo, what's happening, man?
What's happening, brother? How you doing in your side, your neck of the woods, I should say?
You know, man, I'm going to say any better, I'd be two people, Chris.
I like that. I don't know if I can handle two Rosses, but we're good. I mean, I love one Ross. I don't know about two Rosses.
Let's go. We got a great guest today, though, man. We got Mr. Ben in the house.
I know. We got our amazing friend, Ben Marquez. Actually, I've known this guy recently through EXP. Again, yes, this is an EXP channel. If you haven't figured it out yet, get on the channel. We're excited to have all you regular guests that listen in on this podcast. And when it's new, hopefully there's some bad value here for you today as well. So anyways, let's start off by introducing our amazing guest speaker here, a great friend, dear friend of mine, Ben Marquez from Arizona. What's up, my friend Ben? How are you?
What's up, Chris? What's up, Ross?
Excited.
Doing really good. Excited to be here.
Heck
awesome.
Yeah, man.
Glad to have you. So just quickly, I mean, we always like to lay out a little bit of roadmap here. Maybe for those that are listening, kind of give us a little bit of a background of who you are and kind of tell us a little bit of your story.
Okay. Quick background. I've been in the business for about 10 years. Before real estate, my background was on call centers. I used to work for America Online. It was the Google for all the youngins. It was the Google of my generation, right?
I don't know, what is that? What is America Online? Y'all remember AOL?
Good. That's great. That's
the
great.
Free disc, right?
Yeah.
So I started there. Just as a regular call center rep. I became the top salesperson. Eventually became a manager and climbed the ladder. Eventually, they went out of business. I started a logistics company. It was called 24-Hour Logistics. We grew it pretty big. We had humongous clients like Honeywell, Bombardier, UPS, a lot of the big manufacturers in Mexico and Brazil. We just shipped all their urgent shipping. So from there, I decided it was a really high-paced industry. And several things made me want to search for something else. I missed the people interaction, as crazy as it sounds. I think you got to be a little crazy to be in sales, right? I do like the occasional yelling, occasional problem solving, calming people down. I missed it, right? I was really good at my previous job, and I was so good that I rarely ever dealt with people, and it was really killing me. So I decided to come into real estate. It was definitely not what I thought it was, right? I don't know if everyone experienced it, but when I came into real estate, I thought people were going to hand me clients, and I was going to go get them a home, negotiate the deal, and call it a day. Fast forward, I started real estate, and I'm like, whoa, you're telling me I need to find my own clients, and then I need to figure out what to do. Right? Because, I mean, let's be honest, brokers will answer questions, but they're not going to tell you what to do. Right? So it's one of those things where I was like, well, I guess I started businesses. I've sold them before. It's just going to be another one. I started with Keller Williams. I actually really enjoyed my time with Keller Williams. I was in a really good center. I learned a lot how a brokerage operates. And then I learned about EXP Realty, and here I am 6 years later. By far my favorite brokerage. I just feel like it's how real estate should have always been, right? Like, to me, it's like all these other brokerages are just kind of like another filter that keeps away the realtor from making all the possible money they can make in real estate. So, and with that being said, so once when I was at Keller Williams, I was an individual agent just by myself. When I made the move to EXP, it just made perfect sense for me to be a bigger part of the community, start a team so I could help more agents. And then here I am. I mean, I've helped probably over, I mean, not counting my downline, but I probably helped over 40 agents individually face to face. At least 10 of those have become icon agents. I really enjoy helping realtors learn the business and really help them create a good career in real estate. So now, I mean, yeah, hopefully that wasn't too long, but
dude,
that leads me to you guys.
Yeah, no, that was perfect, by the way. You know, I know Chris knows you a little bit, but just hearing your story right off the get, that's massive, man. I mean, you've had a great career. I mean, from AOL doing sales to logistics, now real estate. Now you just said that you've helped train maybe personally 40 people and 10 of them have gotten to icon. I mean, that's exceptional. That is like above and beyond. I mean, just to get 10 agents to icon is already right. That's like what, 1 out of 100 agents that actually make it in their first year. And that the fact that you've trained them, I want to open it up a little bit just to kind of, cause I love belief system. I love mindset. And the first thing I'm thinking of is, okay, so you got, into AOL sales, then you built that logistics company and you got into real estate. Any sales role takes a required belief to believe that they can, close and work with, like, actually close business, actually go out there, find business, actually get out there and grow their business. As you transition to each level, I mean, did you think, like, because obviously you seem to be someone that finds, and like you said, you love problem solving.
Right.
Did you just, like, obviously, and again, I'm trying, and you'll see where I'm going with this, but, like, did you just naturally fall into sales and it was just like, oh, this is something that works? Or, throughout those 3 different businesses, was it just like, this is the right fit because I know sky's the limit? Or, how did you get there into that sales role?
2 things, right? Okay. One, I don't come from money, right? So I grew up in a very humble beginnings. When I graduated high school, I was big into sports. I was a really good basketball player. I was offered some money to go play professionally, but to South America. Dude. And the money there is not good, right? Like, we're talking about almost minimum wage. Yeah, you're like playing basketball, but you're not really making a lot of money. So I was faced with that. I love the game. I really genuinely thought about it, but it was one of those things where I'm like, my family kind of needs me more, right? So the decision was, I don't know what I'm going to do, but my dream, and this is going to sound funny, but my dream was like a lot of basketball players' dream was to make it professionally to the NBA.
Wow.
Really quickly, I learned, I don't think that's going to be a very realistic goal. Because for me to go to South America, try to even get seen there and somehow make it back, it's a very, very untraveled road. Very few people ever make that happen. And at that point, I felt like I was kind of going to be greedy in choosing that route for me, and when my family could use my help, right? So immediately I was like, I need to be one less burden on my dad and go start making money. Reality sales, it was just the best possible job out there.
Yeah.
And I landed. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and tell you, I just seriously was like, where can I make money?
Okay. That's good.
I landed on that job. And once I landed on that job, it was my background, my problem solving background. I was a really good basketball player because I was a very smart player. I wasn't always the biggest. I wasn't always the best player, but I could get a player out of their game because I always like to problem solve. If they were a shooter, I do my best to have them dribble the ball. If they would like to drive the ball, I would challenge them to shoot. I've always been a thinker, right? So sales was the same thing, right? It was about the money. Once I landed there, I found it very similar to sports. It's every time I talk to someone, it was just problem solving. It's like
Yeah.
this person with this issue with this, let me figure out how they even got to this issue, how long they've been having this issue, and let me help them, give them an option that fixes that issue.
Love
right?
that.
And that's all sales is, right? When you're a good salesperson, you're problem solving every single time. You're not convincing someone of buying something, you're fixing their problem, you know?
Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, but it's also about, I love the fact that problem solving with additioning to, it's always something about listening, right? You're always asking questions to be inquisitive, obviously, because you got to find out the pain points in sales, right? But ultimately, at the top of that, then it's like when you're doing that, you're also a great listener so that you can respond back, because people aren't going to trust you until they know you're actually listening and caring. So you're good about that. But I know you, Ben, because you're that guy who sits there and we have great long conversations about stuff just as good friends. And you're inquisitive, always trying to dig in and find out the root of problems, but also you're great at listening to things, which I think is a piece that most people do not have. I think, and it creates almost a disingenuous type of behavior from the people that are responding, like they're listening, right? Like you don't really listen. You're like trying to talk over me. You're just waiting for me to finish my sentence so you can say the next sentence, right? So it's hard to balance that salesman mentality when you're coming from a place of problem solving, but also being very genuinely wanting to hear people out, to hear what their problems are and issues that you can fix or solve. Maybe not even fixing. Maybe you're just a soundboard, right? A lot of times, maybe you got to determine what that looks like. Am I a soundboard today, or am I a guy you actually want me to tell you how to fix this thing?
Right. And that's, I'm so glad you brought that up, Chris, because that's how you got to approach every single day. I can't fix every problem in this world, but I can sure make someone's day better.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes all it takes is listening to them.
Yeah.
I can't solve their problem.
That's
but
so good.
They appreciate a good ear. That's who I am. I'm like, I approach every day with doing something good for everyone I can possibly do it for, And that's really, honestly, I credit that with all my success at all times, right? I listen because I'm genuinely trying to figure out if there's something I could do for whoever I'm with at all times. Can I help this person? And if I go, yeah, I can't help them, but you know what? I can motivate them. I can keep them positive. That's the best I can do. And that's what I'll do, you know?
Man.
And people appreciate that.
They do, man. And I want to say it's so great to hear another amazing leader say that, because we were just saying on the last podcast with Justice, like, how can we help others and give like value for free? Like, how can we be there for them? Like, we have to come from that. Hey, I'm not looking to get anything in return, and one of my favorite phrases right now is actually seeking to understand rather than being understood. How can I understand you, more than I'm trying to be understood on my point? So I like that a lot, Ben. That's a great attitude to have, man.
Well, it's a selfless attitude, right? When you come from that servitude, coming from contribution mentality, like Justice last weekend, it was like always, how do I go to work for free with no expectations? We talked about that. And I think in every scenario in life, it's that. And you determine, like, you really see the root of who somebody is too, right? You really see their true colors when somebody shows up in that fashion, consistently too. Not once, not twice, but consistently comes to bat and shows you that that's the kind of person they are. That's the kind of people we are. And Ben's been that guy since day one. I mean, he really is. He's, he'd let me take his chips off his plate kind of thing. He'd share his lunch. He's just that kind of guy. But
I love that.
I want to jump in a little bit. Let's go back and rewind. So we got a little bit of your journey there in spots and shifts. But you know me, I'm always like, how did it all begin? I love that, Ross. Great question. How did it all begin? You recently had lost your father too, Ben, and I know that was a very important person in your life. He was obviously a very key player in instrumentally helping you become the man you are today too, whether it's the self-driven millionaire.
Right.
I mean, I feel like every day you're the guy that's always looking to chomp the next plateau in life, right? You're never okay with just here. So you're grow. So you have that inspiration and inspiring behavior in you. But where did a lot of that stuff come from? The AOL thing. And I'll say this too. Salespeople or salesmen's roles is not a role that for somebody that is not driven, that doesn't have passion, that doesn't have obsession, that doesn't have relentlessness. It doesn't equate. So where did a lot of this stem from for you in the beginning to really get you fired up? What were your main leaders and drivers in that?
as you know, the main driver was probably my dad, right? He was my basketball coach, a great dad, and eventually became even my business partner in my business, 24-hour logistics, right? So we shared every possible relationship you could have with a human being, right?
Mm.
Which was the best thing, right? When I lost him, I struggled a lot, but then as I was able, the pain went away. I was able to really appreciate how lucky I was to be able to experience all of those timelines with my father, and not just a good father, like a good person, right?
Mhm.
Now a lot of the drive came from just my dad showing me a lot of like just his previous experiences, right? He did a phenomenal job at showing me since I was a little kid um, that it's not about what you have, but how much you can give,
Mm.
right? And with that being said, he goes, and I learned it from sports. Sports helped paid a big way. Um, when I used to play sports, the way he coached every single player, including myself, he said, to me, I don't care if we win. He goes, as long as I can look at you and clearly everyone in the stands, including myself, can say you were the hardest working player out there.
Mm.
If I could see that, you're a winner in my heart, right? Because he goes, everything in life, he goes, if you're giving it your 100%, you're probably going to win it,
Wow.
you know? And so he goes, so stop looking for the results
Mm.
and just always make sure that the effort is there, right? And so that to me is translated everywhere, like you said. Like when I um, let me turn off my phone. I'm sorry. Um, when I'm seriously with Chris, right? I want to be the best friend that Chris has ever had. Whatever he needs, I want to be that guy, right? I approach the same thing. Listing presentation. I want to give that person the best advice I could possibly give them.
Mm.
And I think that's why I credit my dad. I think that since I was little, him instilling that in me has helped me give me this unbelievable drive where I'm not even looking to get paid. I'm just like, okay, in this moment, this is the only thing that exists, right? And I need to make sure that when they leave, Ross always remembers me and Chris is thankful for our relationship. And that's it. That's my only goal, right?
Mhm.
So, and then taking that approach to everything really, really makes it where I have long lasting relationships with people that truly care for me and I care for them, you know? So,
Dude, so first off, man, that is beautiful. And I'm sorry for your loss. Your dad, just from hearing about him, seems like a tremendous man, and he's done a great job because, I mean, look at you today, dude. I mean, you're just a light of success. I can feel your energy all the way here in Detroit, through my, laptop. Listening to that and kind of hearing your story, I know I try to open it up there a little bit, and, I love how you're able to always have just a victor mindset. You're a true champion at heart, man. I mean, the fact that you were great at basketball, but then knew that, what, I'm not going to be able to get the results there exactly where I could if I just pivot, and then to selflessly do that, to then continue to build open doors to the next level, right? You just continue to stack, right? You can see that with your success. I know that, and Chris and I talk about this a lot as well, that doesn't always come naturally for everyone, even if you know like how to do that. So, like for those entrepreneurs out there that maybe are trying to get into that better mindset, are there things, because I know for me, right, like I do a lot of meditation to start my day. I have a gratitude list. Are there things that you do to incorporate to help give you that ability to be so focused, so intentional?
you know what? Recently, obviously, I lost a big part of it, and I caught myself almost slipping. Now, starting to understand why people aren't not like you said. Not everyone has that. That's why I credit my dad, because once I lost him, I noticed I started like that kind of passionate, like in your face, like, let's do this, little by little started to get, start to fade away, right? So I would say I started replacing my dad's voice with like really, really good audibles, right? Really good books. One that I listen religiously, and I've told Chris about it. It's called Discipline is Destiny. It is an incredible book. It's a lot of great similar phrases that my dad would always show you, that would always tell me about, would always like give me examples of. But this guy does it with like great leaders, right? And it's just about getting that mindset and saying it's just seriously not about winning. It's just about waking up every single day and giving your best, right? And your best might not be that good that day, but as long as you know, you're like, man, I had a lot of pain. I lost my dad yesterday, but I'm still, it's not Ross's fault. It's not Chris's fault. I got to give my best. And then if I need time to go and kind of to myself, take care of your stuff and then go take care of yourself. But you have to stay focused. I would say find something that gives you the mindset, because I think it's easier for some people. I think people seem to think I was one of them. I was just born this way, but I'm like, nah, it was my dad chirping at my ear since I was a little kid. So some people might forget, right? They might be like, no, I've just always been like this. You probably just don't remember everything your parents or whoever was in your childhood, what they did to get you there, you know? So I would say just find something to replace the words that you've grown up with. Maybe find something that replaces those words with some new ones that help you be who you want to be, you know? I would say that, because there's a lot of things where I struggle with still, right? Like I show up. But the problem with me is, right, I show up. It's keeping an eye on the time, right? Understanding that it's not just about showing up. It's also about not letting down people that you already committed to.
That's so powerful. That's so
Right?
good right there. Yeah, that's good.
So, and that's right now the next stage of my life, right? People love me, people trust me, I have everything, but you know what? If I want to take it to the next level, that's my next step. It's not good enough for me to be good for you right now. I also have to be respectful of every commitment I make in my day, you know? So that's
time. Yeah. So huge for you is like time management, making sure you do things. And I mean, God bless. I love Ben, but I'll be the first person to tell Ben, man, sometimes he's the worst at that. But it is what it is, right? Everything is about a journey and a gradual progress of getting better and better. But the reality is you're aware of it, which is the first step. You're aware of all your strong suits and your abilities to be great in so many places, and the areas that you know you're a little bit weak in. You're also aware of that. And that's about trying to course correct and redirect and rethink the processes, right, of becoming a better person. And so that's why I think it's great for us always to be living in that space in which we're trying to live at our fullest potential every day. Because we don't even know what our full potential is. Let's be honest, we don't. No. But we can aspire to work towards something of a resemblance of what we feel within ourselves, that we are working at our highest potential, which then, it's that celebrating the wins kind of thing, right? Celebrating the wins. Right. Let's talk a little bit about real estate. Let's jump into this now. So we talked about that. It was great. I mean, again, your great story or your background and what motivates you, what drives you, what gets you there. You're in Arizona, Tempe, Phoenix, Scottsdale is your kind of zone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
all the way to the border.
All the way to the border, right? And so let's talk about the demographics in that and kind of what's that look like out there in Arizona. I mean, most people who are listening probably are very familiar with Arizona. The most probably known places like Scottsdale, right? Phoenix is one too, because you fly into Phoenix. What is the real estate market like out there? What is your business look right there? Let's start a little bit about that.
Yeah. So real estate obviously is incredible here in Phoenix, right? Real estate in Phoenix, it's just incredible, right? With the recent interest rate hikes, obviously, like anything in life, people tend to pause. But our market is great. Our market is great as far as population growth. For the last 8 years, we've been top 3 in the entire country.
Wow.
Our county has for the top. I mean, that's for a very long stretch, right?
Yeah.
An incredible amount. I believe last year we were top 5 in job growth, right? So when you really look at Phoenix, it's more like an economic boom, not just a good real estate market, right? It's becoming, we're already the 4th biggest city in the entire country, and now I think the development, the entertainment, it's all starting to really get here, and it's really gonna make us really push for that top spot of best place to live in. Not
Let's
to
go.
mention property taxes.
Yeah.
Property taxes
That's
are
good.
incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's a big draw. I think a lot of people that are migrating over there, right? People, especially from California, right? I think California has been one of the places that people are trying to get away from. And for those that are listening to California, sorry, but it's the truth. I mean, we've been just pressed with so much stuff recently with taxes and a bunch of recession, whatever, the state in itself. So Arizona is a close hop, skip, and a jump for people outside of the triple digit weather that is pretty. It's there. It's like right there, knocking on your face. What are some other factors out there? I mean, I think it's just a good drive. It's a draw to be in Arizona. What is the draw? A lot of people seem to move. I mean, again, you say your increase for year over year. People are moving there. You're top 3 in the country. What is the draw, you think, for most people that want to come to Arizona, for those that are listening?
I mean, it's a lot. So I'll start off with the number one reason why people end up moving places: jobs, right?
Yeah.
We're the leading, we provide the leading industries in electronic vehicles. So we produce the most amount of electronic vehicles, and we are the leading manufacturer of microchips in the entire, I believe, world. Right? We have Intel investing over 20 billion, and we have a TSMC investing, a Taiwanese company, over $20 billion. So that alone, and we know like those are the jobs of the future. They're not just like, I mean, everything needs a microchip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're pushing really hard for electric vehicles. Well, guess what? We have, other than Tesla, we have all the other top electric vehicles here in Arizona. So that's a really good first step. Now, the second one is entertainment. I mean, they just announced we're getting Voodoo Donuts, super popular. If you go to Portland, right, everyone wants to stop there. They're opening one right here, bike ride from my office. Catch, which is like a super popular, one of the most popular restaurants in Vegas. You have it also in Hollywood. They're opening it right here. We have the Fendi, like luxury condos. There's only 3 of those in the entire world, right? Those are super high end. One in Milan, one in Miami, and one opening here in Scottsdale.
Nice.
Yeah, so we have an incredible, I can keep going. We're having, there's a lot of increase. PGA and DraftKings are partnering up in creating this. They're opening this huge, massive, like luxury restaurant, betting area, for first of its kind here in Scottsdale. Right?
Nice.
Just so people could go there. I mean, I can keep going and going. I mean, as you know, I'm a big basketball fan. Got front row to my Phoenix Suns.
Hey.
Don't miss any game. We have the best team in the entire country.
Yeah, arguably, we'll say that.
So, I mean, I could keep going. It's an incredible place to live. You did bring up the heat. I will. It's like you telling me to move up north or far east. I can't handle the cold weather. I just can't. My knees hurt. My bones hurt. I don't like waking up. Like I already told you, I'm working on my time. You know, I focus so much on people that I lose track of time all the time. I can't imagine adding and having to add another hour before I even leave just to like hit my windshield and stuff.
So Ben, what you're saying is you don't want to come visit me in Detroit and go skiing this
Yeah.
year? Because I was
Summer
going to
I'll be
send you an invite, man. I mean, all right.
Yeah. I actually, I thought you were going with, you said before, like I had to go out for an hour earlier to cut snow off my windshield. I thought an hour earlier to get my bones rolling out of bed because they're aching. That's what I thought you were,
right?
I thought you were going, like, it's too damn cold, so it takes me about an hour more to get my bones rolling.
And there's sometimes that it gets so cold that you can't even start your car here. So, you know, that happens too.
That's insane, bro.
I know.
So you see, I can't handle that. So I do tell people the summer, to me, it is really hot. When it reaches 120 degrees, I'll tell you, if I don't need to go outside, I won't. But if I have to, it's bearable. You gotta make sure your AC in your car and your house work very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
Office. But it's the city's designed to withstand all of that. It's really good. But I feel like there's people that feel the same way I feel about the cold weather, right? That heat, once you hit it, it's like it's unbearable. And for those people, unfortunately, they won't know until they get here. But yeah, for those people, Phoenix is not for them. And I'll be the first one to tell them. Like I told you, I'm the most honest person, and I'm like, if you can't stand the heat and you're not getting used to it, get out of here, because it doesn't get better at all. It just comes every year with the force for 3 to 4 months every year, you know?
That's wild.
But Phoenix, I know I was trying to get Chris to move here, and then he said Hawaii. I'm like, I can't compete with that.
Yeah, Hawaii. How does anyone compete with that?
Right? Yeah.
You know, look at him. He's smiling ear to ear like it's Christmas Day. He's doing just fine over there.
You know, there's only one thing that I just discovered from Chris ever since he moved to Hawaii. Didn't know how much of a show off he was. He sends me pictures of Hawaii every day. He's just like, oh, look at me at the beach.
That's to inspire you. That's just a pure inspiration. That's what it's for, my friend. It's all pure inspiration.
Come on, man. All right.
I want to start the day with a positive note. So I thought, what better way to start with a positive note than send something like that?
No, it's so awesome. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I want to dive into that. You know, thank you for sharing that about your, you know, the market place that you're in, all the things that are happening. I guess my first question is, especially as an agent, is, you know, do you have a way that you attract business, especially if you have a ton of business from coming out of state, right? Like there's all these new businesses coming in, you know, are you making, you know, partnerships with them to help them with relocating? I mean, what does that look like for you as a team lead to, you know, help be, you know, the first name that people think of when they think of real estate in Arizona?
Yeah. So personally, there's a lot of things, right? And I'll tell you what I'm working on, what I had done before. And I mean, I think because I'm hoping that realtors are watching this, and maybe I can help a few not make the mistakes I've made, right?
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. So one of the biggest things that I tell you is you get on this ride. So I was doing really good with real estate, helping a lot of agents. So one of the things that tends to happen, at least for me and me talking to other team leaders, is you quickly kind of want to take yourself out of production, right? Like you're helping all these people, you don't have enough time in the day. So I took myself out of production and really helping them capture leads, them get accounts, do all of this, right? How do I do it? I use my previous background, right? I feel like when I was in logistics, I would go, it was nice because I didn't have to convince thousands of people to ship with me. I just had to convince 100 people to ship thousands of shipments with me, right?
Right.
So I take the same approach here. You genuinely have to find those leaders in communities, those accounts that you know are going to represent more than one deal, right? Who are these people? So, and how do you get them? One, you make sure that you are that person, and that you are that person that shows up for them at all times. If they need something, you are that person. So therefore, I think it's just human nature for them to think of you the second anyone mentions real estate, right? So that's the way we approach our business, right? That's how I push everyone. For me, that's how I've been doing business for a long time. My call center background, we do add a little bit of internet leads, right? They come in, they click on some houses. My experience with call centers, really helps my agents really take more of a customer service approach, right? How can we help you, right? And so that's really taking us really far. So with that being said, I still feel, other than me saying we provide great customer service, me be present to you, it is impossible for everyone to know that and see that, right? Like you go, how do I make sure that everyone feels the way that Chris feels about me, that knows he can count on me? How do I make that be known with the public? That's the real question, right?
Yeah.
To me, the answer is like, you can't. Like it's really, really difficult for someone to feel that strong about you, right? You need to get to know them. You need to personally impact them or someone around them, right? Which we'll keep trying to do that. Yeah. So with that being said, my new approach is I want to give something tangible, like a product that no one else can offer or is offering. So as you can see right now, my biggest approach, how I'm trying to grow and get a bigger market share, is I'm offering a solution to a lot of people's problems, right? So right now, as you can see, I founded Higher Living, but also have Flip with Zero, which is one of the products that I believe we are the only one that offers it in the way that we offer it. I flip some homes. I do some investing. I've helped many people. So I decided there's a lot of costs built into doing that, right? Even if I acquire a property, there's a lot of costs, right? Acquisitions, loans, all this stuff that really goes into just that you lose immediately.
Yep.
Right? So I built this program where as long as someone doesn't need a full flip, if they just need some repairs, and I know it's going to make them 6 figures just by doing those repairs, we'll do it for them, and they won't have to pay the company for 90 days.
Wow.
Right? So that I feel at the end of the day, it comes from who I am. I feel like there's no reason why people shouldn't use us. If I'm telling you, Ross, I will paint your house, interior, exterior, and it will be a great deal. But most importantly, I'm going to make you an extra, put new floors, but I'm going to make you an extra $100K. And you're not going to have to lift a finger. Why wouldn't you use me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
huge value there, brother. That's a huge value. Yeah.
Right? So now the same thing. Now that I have something tangible, because me going out there and being like, I'm the best, I'm going to take care of you, I do this, that. I'm like, that's replicatable. Someone else can just go out and say it, even if they don't mean it or they won't do it. But I'm like, but when you have something tangible, it's like, people can't just go out there and offer that.
Yeah.
You know? So that is my next step, right? Always constantly trying to figure out how I can bring more value to public. How can I bring more value to my partners? How can I bring more value to clients? And so that's now what I'm trying to do. And I would encourage every realtor to figure out, what can you do tangible that other people can't do, or most people can't do? And then it's getting the word out. So that's what I'm doing to get more business right now.
Heck yeah.
I love that. Well, it's about separating yourself in this industry, right? What separates you from everybody else? Because again, I don't mean this in a disrespectful manner, but I think realtors, they're a dime a dozen. They're in every corner, right? They're like a gas station. Everywhere you turn, there's a realtor. And we've seen the influx of it and an exit of it in various markets. Right now, our market, I think we're seeing a huge exit versus an influx. It is what it is, right? This is like 2006, 7, 8, 9, where that market was another exit of mass amounts of realtors who came in and just didn't see it, didn't have a value proposition like you're creating yourself right now, which is amazing, and find ways to separate themselves from their, and I use this word competition in a healthy way, but in a competition, right? So it's all about, trying to find that piece about you and your business that makes you shine and stand above the rest. And you're doing that with your Flip with Zero. I've been talking to you about it for a while. Ben's been working on this for a long time, honestly, which is awesome. I'm so proud of you, brother. Because I know it's not something you just started up like 6 months ago. I mean, you've been like planning this thing for probably since damn near we've known each other. He's like, I'm always working on something, you know, and then it's like, okay, and then it's just been happening. So it's just for those that are listening, I might know too, like, don't be like thinking that this was something easy that Ben just started, like, oh, I created this thing, flip with zero. No, I mean, and it didn't even turn out right initially. I mean, there's been like, oh, that was a wall, that didn't work, right? Scratch, go back to zero, you know, oh, that didn't work. So this is another trial by error, you know, like Thomas Edison, how many times it take him to figure out how not to make a light bulb, right? And how many times it take to make a light bulb. And so Ben's working on it. So I'm super grateful for that. And I'm glad to see that you're doing it. Let's talk about some production too, like numbers wise. You're obviously very competitive out there in the market. You're a very competitive person. I know you by nature. You're a guy who likes to win. You definitely don't want to come in second place. Maybe that's your sports background, upbringing. Where are you at in the marketplace in that, you know, that sector there of Arizona, you know, the Scottsdale, the Phoenix, the Tempe, kind of let the listeners know out there where you're at as far as that stage, like production wise and team wise.
Yeah, well, team wise, you know what? It's the same thing, right? It's a constant learning experience, right? Figuring out. I think I've gone to the point where I grew my team as the biggest I've ever had. My team is 25 people, right? And then I found myself not doing anything but answering a ton of questions. You would think having so many agents would make you more money, right? It did the exact opposite, and it was so stressful. It was like, I'm like, all I'm doing is answering, and I love helping people, but you find yourself, you go, wow, like this isn't working. So eventually shrank it down. Right now, we shrank it to the core. We have a total of 6 agents, right? 6 producing agents.
Yes.
Right? I have a couple rock stars, icon agents in the team. And when people ask, why would an icon agent be on a real estate team? It's very simple. They know their P&L, right? They know how little they're spending to make $200,000 a year, right? Because there's a lot of agents that might make $300,000 a year, but they're spending $200,000 to make that.
Yeah, no, 280. Let's be honest, $280,000.
So, you know, my agents that are crushing it, they show up, they don't have to pay anything, and they just crush it, and they take all the money, they go to sleep comfortably, and they have all the support, right?
Yeah.
They measure it, they know, and I talk to them consistently. I'm super forward with all the numbers, so no one comes in, because you know how it is. Our industry is very competitive. Everyone's just like, why are you doing it? And once people see the numbers, there's nothing people can tell them, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, we're up to 58 million is what we produce per year. Our goal is 100 million. We want to get to 100 million, but we've had a lot of, you said, a lot of it had to do with me. I just constantly keep pushing. We need a bigger team. We need and I think finally at this point I can tell you, by the end of next year, we will sell over 100 million because the direction is super clear. The products are clear. Now it's just producing, you know?
Love that.
So it's, I mean, we're right now we're small and mighty, but we're very, very, we give great service. We get the job done, and the questions are very good questions. We do have 2 new agents, but it's easy to help 2 new agents when you have 4 all-stars, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't all fall on me. It's really quickly. Everyone can answer that question. The problem is when you had 3 all-stars for 25 people. You know, you're like, ugh. It just drowns you, you know?
I get it. That's
So,
awesome. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just saying it's about the quality versus the quantity. You know, a lot of teams fail. Like I can tell you right now, in the history of people running teams and building teams, that let's just be specific to. Everybody says they got a team. Let's really look what that looks like. You have a couple of people that show up and help, like voluntarily, to help supplement some things, offset some duties for you when you're on vacation. Let's be honest, that's not a freaking team, people. Let's keep that clear and concise. You don't have a team. You actually have people that want to just help you out. That's cool. a real functioning full team that has systems, automations, things like that, models that you actually have integrated that work consistently over and over and over again, that make a full like warehouse type environment. That's a functioning team. So I just want to make sure it's clear. Those who are listening out there, define what you're talking about when you say you got a team, because most people don't have a team. They just have some friends that want to help out. But to get a quality team, most of them that get them, they're just trying to pick and choose and find people quickly because they want to build. Like, that's why I need a body. Just having a body does not mean that you're going to have success. A body does not equal that. You know, don't get a body and create a space or a number. Like, oh, my team, I got 35. Oh, I got 45. Oh, I got 55 agents. But like 35 or 40 of them are doing nothing, right? I think Ben froze there a little bit. I think Ben's frozen. But yeah, I mean, ideally, that's kind of where it works, right? So the truth is like being very, very cautious about how you build a team. A true team is different than anything else. So I think, we lose Ben. We lost Ben, didn't we?
He probably come back in.
He'd probably get it, yeah. If not, that's a great profile picture right there for him, though.
It is, dude. He's actually, it froze perfectly while he smiled.
Yeah, it's a pro.
Didn't it though? Like, it couldn't have been better for the freeze.
I think it's
shout out to Ben.
I know, right? I think it's the first ever in history we've ever had somebody freeze up. So in a podcast scenario, you're just listening to this. Yeah, we obviously have lost Ben, our special guest today. Hey, technical difficulties happen all the time when you're dealing with technology, right? Social media and all things like that. So maybe we'll just call this what it is. You know, we're to talk about 45 minutes here, and I really appreciate for those that are listening. We always value those regular listeners that listen to us. Ben, I know you're not there, but you're there. We appreciate you tremendously. I love you as a friend, as a colleague, and you've been a great side soundboard for me as well through many difficult times, and I as well for you. We appreciate you. We look forward to hearing more from you again and seeing you at the next event, EXPCon, coming in October. But anyways, again, great information. We love your journey. We appreciate it. And again, we expect everybody that's coming in to take time to listen first in our channel weekly. And for those that are new, hopefully this is some value to you on hearing some of the stuff that Ben has offered us on some of his ideas and his journey and what he's building with his higher living. And Flip with Zero. Oh, he is back for the tail end of it. Yeah, we just kind of gave you a eulogy.
Yeah. The weirdest thing is I could hear and see you the entire time. Like, you guys never.
Oh, that's funny. So you heard all of us giving you compliments.
Yeah, you heard us. Did you hear me telling you how much I love you and stuff? Like, oh, geez,
I heard the whole thing.
Awesome. Well, yeah. I mean, at this point, then obviously we'll just kind of, we'll call this what it is, and we appreciate those that are listening.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Ben. We appreciate
Ben.
it.
Dude, I love you as a friend. Truly, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I do.
No, and thank you for having us. Thank you for having me. And I got a lot of love for you, Chris. I mean it. Like, I'm there for people, but then there's people that become family, right? Yeah, like,
true.
I'm a big firm believer that that's not. You know what? People just need to be listened to. I mean, no one needs help. We all know what to do. The hardest thing is actually just to do it. Right. And the first step I would say is showing up. If you keep showing up, eventually you're gonna get past whatever limiting belief you have. But you got to keep showing up. You got to just show up. And that's like no one's watching, and eventually you're gonna hit it, So that's the best advice. Thank you for having me here, guys. I hope to meet you soon in person, Ross.
Oh yeah, brother. It's only a matter of time. I'll see you at EXPCon.
Yes.
Let's go.
And I love it.
And Chris, I'll go visit you pretty soon.
No, I know you will.
You guys, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Absolutely. Awesome, I appreciate that. Well, until next week, everybody have an amazing week. Go out and crush it and be your highest that you can possibly be in life. Love you, Ben. Love you, Ross, as always. We'll see y'all next week.